Hey, I'm Jigs Farmer. From our crinum farm in South Carolina to the work I've done in botanical gardens and public landscapes, I've dug, divided, transplanted, and shared literally tens of thousands of crinum lilies. When you dig a crinum lily, it's important to understand the anatomy of that bulb, what's happening below ground, way below ground, in order to get the parts that will live once you transplant them. What we're going to do today is dig a bulb, wash it off, and then chop it right down the middle and look at the anatomy of the bulb below ground at the parts that you need to move a crinum lily.
You want a straight shovel, not a shovel that's curled around like a regular round point shovel is. The second rule is when you use it, go straight down into the ground. I'm going to go all the way around this clump, and I'm cutting down about 12 inches. Actually, this shovel's probably 16 inches, so I'm cutting down 16 inches.
Okay, why don't you stop?
So after I've cut all the way around the clump, I'm going to come out a little bit behind it, and then I can angle down, and I start to use my shovel now as a pry bar. Okay, so once a clump's out the ground, I have a whole big clump of dirt. We have a nice clay soil here, so it all comes up together. The next step is to get this thing divided out. We're going to do some of that just by rocking it.
Like knocking that dirt off, and then we're going to do some of it with a hose.
So when we clean this dirt out, what you start to see is the root base, the bulb, and the old leaves. So if you try to dig this out, this pup, this is what I call it, is often sliced by the shovel. Okay, what I'm going to show you is what happens. This is just a severe example, but if you get a piece like this, usually that is not gonna live. Now, I never say never, but the rule of thumb is that's just trash. And that's what happens lots of times when you try to dig a little bit of a crinum out. And I want to show you why that won't live. So I'm going to cut that one right down the middle and show you what we couldn't see from before. We could see the roots before. We could see the green leaves before. All of this bulb is just leaves. It's just compressed leaves and compressed flower buds. You see right there? I've colored this so it's a little artificial, but this is a compressed flower bud. And if I could pull it out, I can't really pull it out properly. But that is what's going to push out. Oh, actually, here's one pushing out. Let me slice that one out and free. There's a new flower bud, or what would have been a whole bunch of crinum flowers. Okay, let's think about this thing as a whole. If this is all leaves and this is all roots, if you think about what you know about plants, well, you have to have something in between, right? You have to have, say, a trunk. So this little bit in here, if you can tell, it's a little bit different consistency from everything else. This is basically compressed trunk. This is the growing point. It's called the basal plate because in this area you can see that it's shaped almost like a disc or a plate. So when you dig a crinum, you need three things. You need a little bit of root, you need a little bit of trunk, and you need a little bit of leaf. So this one will grow because it has all three, but this one probably won't grow because it doesn't have the basal plate.